Well, good evening, Wednesday evening. Happy to see everybody. We'll get started here. I think we'll do a combination like we did on Sunday morning, where we'll still focus a little bit of our attention more around chest, heart opening, and shoulders, but get some deeper stretches in for our hips and legs and hamstrings, because that seemed to be a pretty big consensus. So anything else we might want to throw in the mix, let me know. Awesome. I think we're ready to go. So feel free to unmute yourself at any time to ask questions or give feedback or comments. Use your chat box. I'm going to move myself over to my mat. So let's do have a yoga strap or something like a yoga strap this evening. So whether that's a belt, a long scarf, or your folded long towel handy. The usual, so if you have yoga blocks, have those nearby, folded towels, blankets, eye coverings, all that good stuff. So the pose that we've been starting the classes in September in is supported fish pose, Salamba Matsyasana. This can either be a very big elevation for the chest and the shoulders melt away, lifting up the heart to counter rounding through the upper back, or a more subtle version of this where we take our folded towel or blanket and fold it into a smaller rectangular shape that will still hit us in the same place between those shoulder blades. So remember, the fuller version of this requires 2 yoga blocks or something similar to 2 yoga blocks. One block is on its skinny edge because this is what's going to run up and down the sides of the spine between the shoulder blades and the upper back. And then a secondary block, or like I've just made a cushion with some blankets to support the back of the head. It is okay if there's a little bit of head fall going backwards, but we don't want to compress our cervical vertebra too much by doing that. So we'll figure out which one of those versions works best for us. I know y'all kind of already know these things, but just go run over it for you. We'll bring ourselves down and around. So when we do start to come onto our props, still remember to lengthen out that low back. So you can do a little shift in the pelvis. We're trying to get that support to hit us right at the tips of the shoulder blades, releasing the upper back of the head. Now our arms will just roll away from the body, palms facing up to the ceiling. So again, we get the stretch across the front of the chest and the heart. It might be a little bit more comfortable to keep our knees bent and together in this position, or sliding the legs out with the support of a pillow or bolster, always an option. So take a moment to get as comfortable as possible, loosening things up, situating the body here on our mat. When we feel like we're in our most comfortable place, we'll close the eyes and press the pause button from our day. Letting go of the day, moving into our practice so that we can be more connected and mindful with our body and our breath. Feel the whole weight of the body here relax towards the ground. Relaxing all the little muscles across the face, especially around the eyes, the mouth, tongue, and jaw. Really feel the weight of the arms drop away from the upper body. So heavy arms, heavy joints, shoulders to elbows, elbows to wrists. Those of us that are lifted up a little bit higher, we will feel a stretch through the chest and the rib cage. If we're using those yoga blocks, we'll either also feel some acupressure of the yoga block pressing into those muscles alongside of our spine. Continue to relax the lower half of the body around the hips. Legs are heavy as well, all the way down through the knees into the ankles, feet, and toes. As usual, if we recognize any areas that maybe need A little extra TLC this evening. We'll honor and respect those areas in our practice tonight. Letting go of competition, especially with our own ego, and instead practicing santosha or contentment. Continue to feel the weight of the body sink towards the ground as we now spread our awareness to the rhythm of the breath. Simply follow and observe the breath moving in and out of the body. Ideally breathing in and out through the nose as evenly as possible. So this pose does stretch those muscles around the rib cage, our intercostal muscles. So this gives us the ability to maybe take deeper, fuller breaths. Still feeling that expansion and rise on our inhalations. And that contraction and softening on our exhalations. We'll move this breath into a few rounds of our Samavriti or equal breathing. When we get to our next inhalation, we'll mentally count the number that we're breathing in to fill ourselves up this evening. And when we get to our exhale, we will mentally count the same number back out. Establish a comfortable rhythm. And as we relax into the breath, it might deepen on its own. Or we can purposely try to add 1 or 2 more counts, elongating the breath, both on the inhale and exhale. And then we'll all cycle through 1 more round of breath. This time we'll try to make us our biggest breath yet. So the next time we breathe in, we'll just continue to breathe in, filling the body up as much as we can, all the way to the brim. And then on the exhale, same thing. Don't worry about the count. Just try to empty, empty, empty every last drop. Put some effort into it. We should feel some contraction of the abdominal muscles as well. Clean everything out. At the bottom of that exhale, we will let go of trying to follow and control our breath for a moment. Let it wander away wherever it wants to go. And then noticing the physical weight of the body again. We'll start to gently wake the body up by wiggling your toes and our fingertips. Those of us that are more elevated on yoga blocks or props will want to walk our feet in. Draw the arms next to the body so that we can press through the elbows and the forearms. Breathe it in, lead with the heart, let the head follow, and we'll slowly peel ourselves off our props. If you're lower to the ground, feel free to roll off the props to one side. We are going to lie right back down on the ground tonight. So once we slide our props out of the way, we'll lie flat back down to the floor. And this time, we'll all stretch our legs out on our mat. Lengthen that lower buttock down and bring the insides of the legs and feet to touch. Slide your shoulders down and the arms come down beside the body. So our body should be in one nice straight line from the crown of the head all the way down to the tips of our toes. Moving again with the breath on our inhale, let's reach those arms up overhead. Long body stretch, flex the feet, spread the toes, reach as far as we can. Exhale, point the toes forward, pump those arms down, and start to squeeze and tighten the muscles a little bit for some strengthening. Our inhale takes us into extension. Coordinating this movement all the way down into the toes, let the low back gently arch. Exhale, point the toes, pump those arms, draw the belly in towards the spine. Now we'll keep going again in a rhythm that feels good for our breath and body. A little bit more strengthening on that exhale as we draw the belly in and pump the arms. We'll float the head up, also stretching the root of the neck and looking to those toes. And then the inhale brings the head down, arms overhead, flexed feet. Let's take 2 more rounds of water pump pose. The next time we're in an inhale, we'll hold it. So arms overhead, fingers wide, toes nice and wide. Stretch your right side a little bit longer. Stretch and lengthen that left side a little bit longer. Bring it right back to center. One more big breath in. Exhale, arms down, walk the feet in. So draw those heels right towards the sit bones, parallel those feet a few inches apart. Shoulder blades continue to draw under the body. Taking a yoga block if we have it, placing it right between those inner thighs. Following the breath, moving in and out of Setu Bandhasan or bridge pose. So tighten up the backside, squeeze the muscles of the glutes and the hamstrings, and inhale, lift those hips up. And on the exhale, we'll lower it back down. Remember, we should be moving at an even pace. So if you're lifting up and inhaling for a count of 3, you should lower and exhale down for a count of 3. The neck is in its natural curve off the ground. Nice pose to open up the front of those hips and to strengthen our back. Adding the shoulders in the upper back, we'll add the arms. So squeeze, inhale, lift, reach the arms up and overhead, all the way into the shoulders, not the neck. And then exhale, lower the hips and the arms down. Make this movement as fluid as possible, but with a lot of purpose. And let's all take one more version, whatever we're choosing to do, of bridge pose. We'll meet on the exhale. We'll take the prop out from the inner thighs, keeping the knees bent. Step those feet as wide as a yoga mat. Drop the elbows out from the shoulders, bending at the elbows, back to the hands to the floor in our cactus arms. And again, following our breath right into windshield wiper pose. Inhaling in neutral. The exhale, we'll let the knees fall over to the right, gently arching the left side and stretching through the front of the left side body. Inhaling up through center. Exhale, knees to the left. The head turns the opposite direction to get a counter twist for the neck. So the more that we intentionally draw those knees towards the ground, the more that will give us that back bend and that opening through the front of the hip and the quad. But be kind to the knees. If you ever get any weird pinching, tingling, or pain on the inside or the outside of a knee, we need to readjust our back off. Just a nice fluid movement to help loosen up our joints here. We'll take it one more time to each side. So we'll all move one more time to our right side, one more time to our left. And then we'll inhale, meet back in neutral, drawing the belly in to hug the knees in. Hands to knees or shins, little rock side to side. Hands behind those thighs, let's extend the legs up to the ceiling, point and flex the feet. Go ahead and massage up and down those hamstrings if you like. Or just continue to press the thigh bones forward into the hands, opening up the backs of the knees. Next inhale opens the legs nice and wide into our V stretch, supporting the weight of the legs from the outside. Roll the ankles a few times. Or we'll move the hands to the insides to massage those muscles and to allow gravity to give us an even more intense stretch for our inner thigh growing muscles. Big breath in. Exhale, let's squeeze those legs all the way back up to vertical. Drop those knees in, hug them in. Maybe float the head up, nose to the knees to give the upper back a little stretch as well. And then we'll relax our head down, bring the right arm beside the head, and roll. onto our right side to pause for a moment. And then pressing into the ground, let's bring our bodies all the way up and come up into a seated position. So this is where the majority of us will definitely want to sit up on something so that we can keep our spine in a nice, long, neutral spine. Finding our sit bones, any comfortable seat here. Most importantly, we're sitting up nice and tall through the crown of the head. We will draw in that lower abdomen just to support the low back. Extending the arms up from the shoulders, let's turn those palms up. Inhale, breathing, we'll reach the arms all the way up to the ceiling. Turn the palms out, exhale, fingertips to the floor. Flowing right into our lateral extension, inhale that right arm up. Keep both sit bones equally grounded. Create a lot of length and space to the right side of the body as we lean to the left. On an inhale, contract the right side to pull the body up. Switching arms, lean to the right to lengthen and stretch out the left side of the body. One more time to each side with the breath. Feel this through the waist, the rib cage, the shoulder. Our next inhale, we'll bring both arms up to the center, bringing the palms to touch and exhaling to our center. So we're going to take a twist tonight that we're going to hold a little bit longer. So remember to maintain the length through the upper body. Let's take our right fingertips and just float them off to the side of the body a little bit. If we're lifted up a little bit higher, you might need to put a secondary prop there, or literally rest your hands on your hip. And then turn the palm of the left hand up to the ceiling. We'll take a little bit of a twist towards our right and try to slide the back of that hand around the opposite knee. Don't round or hunch the back or any tilting. We're stacked up nice and tall through the vertebra. This just helps keep that shoulder open. Taking a breath in. Now on the exhale, we can use that opposite knee as a little bit of leverage to continue to rotate through the upper back, the shoulders, the neck. Add the eyes peeking behind the body. We're holding our twist tonight. So keep the breath flowing in and out through the nose. One more inhale. Hold the twist in the body. On the exhale, we'll turn just the head to look back forward. And then a counter twist for our neck again. Try to peek over the left shoulder. Maybe dropping the chin slightly down, keeping it parallel, whatever feels best for your neck. Body continues to twist to the right, head to the left. Breathe it in. And exhale, unwind, bring the head and the body back to center. Inhale, both arms up, palms touch, exhale to center. And then switch up the cross of those legs, those of us sitting cross-legged, place the opposite foot in front. Sit up tall on the sit bones. Left fingertips just float off. We can move them a little bit further if we need to later, but just give them a space to hang out. Turn the right palm up. Sliding the knuckles of the right hand over the opposite knee. Shoulders, chin are parallel. I'm sitting up tall for the crown of the head, breathing in. Exhale, using that knee as a little bit of leverage to start twisting and rotating through the upper back, the neck, head follows. Open those eyes really wide, peek behind you. Keep breathing. One more big breath in. Hold the twist in the body. Exhale, turn the head forward. Now peek over the opposite shoulder and breathe. Either keeping the head in neutral or a slight tilt down to stretch more of the back of the neck. But don't lose the body. Body's counter twisting away. Head is looking to the right. One more breath in. And then exhaling, releasing the head and the body to face back forward. Inhale, both arms up. Bringing those palms to touch. Exhale to our center. So now we'll move into our tabletop, however works best for you to get there. We'll all resituate ourselves here. So we did our lateral extension, our twisting. We'll go right into extension and flexion, so our cat-cows. So find your nice strong foundation here. Press it into the ground, stack those knees underneath the hips. Toes may be turned under to stretch the toes and soles of the feet, or flatten to the ground. On the inhale, we'll relax the heart and the belly, and lift and lengthen from the tail to the crown. On our exhale, scoop that tail under, draw the belly in, round that back, and drishti to the belly button. Samavriti pranayama takes us back into that even, equal breath. Now, of course, if one of these feels really nice and we need a little bit more of one over the other, feel free to hang out there a little bit longer. And then let's come back to neutral and take a break here in our child's pose, giving our hips and low back a stretch before we do our low flow. So we'll bring the toes to touch, open the knees wide. We'll sink the hips to the heels. If we want to continue to open the chest and heart, open the hands wider than the mat, sinking the heart and the head to the mat. Walking those fingertips as far forward as possible, but simultaneously pulling the hips back and down. Remembering our modifications are to slide the hands under the forehead or sit back on a pillow or a blanket, readjusting the body as needed. And then just breathe. And we'll all take one more breath in our pose. Next inhale, we'll float the head and the body right back up to tabletop. We'll bring the knees back underneath the hips. Now we'll all tuck our toes under and walk ourselves further towards the back of our yoga mat, so we have space in front of us because we will eventually end up on our belly. Walk those hands at one hand's distance forward, arms are at an angle. Draw the lower belly in. On our inhale, slide it forward to the kneeling plank. So the hips should be right in line with the knees and the shoulders, head in line with the spine. Our exhale, we'll take a bow. Lift the palms up, round the fingertips, bow the head towards the ground, doesn't need to touch. Inhale, we bring it forward, kneeling plank. Exhale, take a bow. Now you can stay here. Those of us that want to turn the volume up a little bit and continue to work for strengthening the shoulder girdle. Inhale, kneeling plank. Exhale, little bend at the elbows for that half chaturanga. And you can stay here practicing these. Your elbows should graze your rib cage. The only thing that's bending is the elbow joint. And at any time your body needs to take a break, you sit it back into your bow. And then the next time we move forward into our kneeling plank, or if we're already there, the next time we take a chaturanga, we'll all exhale, bend those elbows in, try to slowly lower the body all the way down to the ground. The chin extends forward, slide the hands under the shoulders, squeeze those elbows towards the rib cage. Flatten out the tops of the feet. Those feet stay wider than the hips if we take care of that low back. Or we'll zip them up like the tail of a snake. And we'll go right into our cobra. Pull your shoulder blades down your back, squeeze the upper back, and inhale, lift the heart. So this opening, stretching of the heart action is what we want to feel as we tone and strengthen the backside of the body. The glutes are supporting characters here, so we may tighten them up if it's purposeful. Use the breath. Inhale, try to lift those hands up, keep squeezing the back. Extend those arms beside the body, palms down, reaching to the heels. And then we'll try to interweave all 10 fingers in our chest expansion, really feeling the shoulder blades come together. Nice strong legs. Ardha Shalabhasana. Inhale, one straight leg from the hip up, squeezing the backside. Exhale it down. Inhale, left side lifts. Exhale it down. Repeat one leg at a time, or inhale both legs up. Ardha Shalabhasana, locust, flying off our yoga mats. Every muscle along the back side of the body should be squeezing. Feel that heart open and stretch. Big breath in. Exhale, release, gently flop to the ground. Either turning the head to one side or stack your hands under the head. Flop those heels open. Notice and observe the body and the breath and the effects that that pose just had on the body and the breath. One more breath. If the head is turned, turn it the other direction to counter twist the neck. And then inhale, chin forward, hands underneath the shoulders. Once again, re-engage through the feet and the legs. And inhale, lift that heart up into our cobra. This time we'll slide those elbows underneath our shoulders, coming into Sphinx pose. So I'm knifing the pinky edge of my hands into the ground, pressing my forearms into the ground. Really relaxed hips here. And I'm gonna pretend like I'm dragging my elbows into my rib cage and pulling my spine forward and upwards to the crown of the head. Draw the shoulders down. Try to relax the back side of the body as much as possible here to start. So we're moving into that tying the knot pose for our shoulders right away this class. So I will turn myself to face forward so you have a little visual if you like. We will start by placing the palm of the right hand to the ground. You might slide it a little bit further in front of the body and then straighten the arm. That's just giving us space to take our left fingertips, turn them in. Remember, we don't turn the shoulders, we're not twisting. You just try to walk that arm as much as you can over to your right underneath the chest. And then we lower it down, shoulders still level and square. And we take our right fingertips over to the left, and we walk them the opposite direction. So we're tying our arms in a knot. Now we'll continue to inch our arms away from each other as much as is comfortable. We will start to feel this deep stretch on the outside of those shoulders. The head can relax down. If we want a little bit more this evening, tuck those toes under and press the body forward over those arms. One more breath. Inhale, float the head up. If you've gotten into a pretty tight knot, just take your time to come out of it. Walk those right fingertips back forward. Lift up enough to bring the left arm out. Both arms extend forward on the ground. Bring the palms to touch. Drop the forehead to the floor and swim yourself forward through the arms to stretch your lats out in Makarasana or crocodile pose. Hands under the shoulders, chin forward. Squeeze the back to inhale through cobra. Slide the elbows under the shoulders for Sphinx. Now relax the back side of the body. Doesn't need to work anymore. We're lengthening, decompressing. Left palm to the ground, inch it slightly forward and press down to create space. Right fingertips underneath the body, slide the arm over to the left. And then walk your left arm over to the right. Continue to inch those arms away from each other. Head relaxes down. Big stretch for the shoulders and the upper back. A little bit more, tuck the toes under, press the weight forward. One more big breath in the pose. Inhale, head up. Inch that right arm, your left hand forward. Press into the left, slide the right arm out. Both arms extend forward, palms touch, drop the head to the ground. Crocodile pose. Slide those hands under the shoulders, chin forward, squeeze the upper back. Tuck your toes under, tuck your tailbone under. Now press into the ground to lift the body all the way back up through kneeling plank. Bring the knees underneath the hips, and let's take a few rounds of our cat and our cow. You could start off a little small because we just did some back bending, so don't go into a really big cat stretch necessarily right away. Give those muscles time to stretch and lengthen. If we feel like we need to sit back in a child's pose to get even more of a bigger stretch, feel free to do that. And then we'll walk our hands one hand's distance forward again, tuck those toes under, draw the belly in, and lift up. Maybe into our first downward facing dog of the day. It's mine. Some of you might have already done some inversions and stretching out the body here. Wherever we are, continue to distribute the weight through the first knuckles of the fingers. Pull the shoulder blades down the back. Feel free to walk that dog, pedaling the heels, giving one leg a big stretch at a time. And then let's all find some stillness in our pose, sinking the heels towards the floor, whether they touch or not. Bend the knees if we need a little release of the hamstrings and low back. And then we'll inhale, look forward. Baby step and walk, feet to hands, hands to feet. Remember, those of us that are not practicing full forward fold, modify with hands or elbows on the thighs. When a little bit more, grab opposite elbows for ragdoll or sway the neck and shoulders. Keep those feet and legs nice and strong. And then tonight, let's roll it up. So we'll bend our knees, place our hands on our thighs, tuck the chin, and on our inhale, we're just gonna stack the spine one vertebra at a time. Rolling up through the spine so that we can float the head up. Make sure you're inhaling. Give those shoulders a nice big roll up towards the ears. And on our exhale, we'll pull those shoulder blades back and down. Float the arms slightly away from the body. Turn the palms forward, feeling the chest and heart open back up. And pausing for a moment in our Tadasana. So that foundation should still be equal in both feet, feet parallel. Unlock those knees. Draw front body to back body. Feel the lift up through the pelvic floor into the lower abdomen and our lower locks. Little activation between those shoulder blades and the back of the heart. The head is totally relaxed. No stress in the face or the throat. Take a breath. Inhale, let's reach those arms as wide as we can and all the way up to the ceiling. Bring the palms to touch and exhale, hands to heart. We'll go right into a little bit of balance work, our palm tree pose. Inhale again, draw that big circle. This time lift the heels up, reach, lengthen, and stretch, good. And exhale, slowly try to lower down. Sometimes coming down smoothly is the harder part because gravity is kind of rushing us to get there. Inhaling, lengthening, really pressing the mounds of those big toes. Exhaling it down. One more time. Next time we come down, let's open those feet a little wider. Lean to the right. Lift and lower those left toes. When we're ready, we'll hover the left foot from the floor. We'll hover our arms up beside the body and just pretend like we're balancing on that tightrope. And then again, turn the palms forward, spread the fingers, spread the toes, and on this inhale, slide those arms up an invisible wall without shrugging the shoulders up, neck is long, into our star pose, Tadasana. And are we breathing? Are we holding the breath? Just notice. Take one more big breath in. Exhale, we're gonna land as softly as possible. Remember, no fidgeting or fussing. Try to land right back into Tadasana. Equalize the weight in the feet, turn the palms forward. Inhale, let's reach those arms up. Bring the palms to touch. Exhale, hands to heart. Lean it to the left. Left leg is super strong. Press it through the earth. Lift and lower the toes of the right foot. Minding our surroundings, we'll hover that foot when we're ready. We'll hover the arms out beside us and just try to feel like we're softly floating. And then more dimension, palms forward, spread fingers, spread toes, lift the leg up a little bit, float those arms out into a V. The neck is long and relaxed. Good. Steady gaze, steady focus and concentration. Big breath in. And then exhale again. Just try to land as softly and slowly as possible. Every part of our practice counts. It's not just about doing a pose. Once we land, turn the palms forward, take a breath. Inhale, big circle all the way overhead. Gentle back bend, gaze up towards the thumb, stretch out the chest. And then exhale, pull those hands back down to heart. So the next pose we'll practice tonight is actually going to be Parsvottanasana. This is sometimes called pyramid pose. I forgot my chair again. So those of you that do have folding chairs, you might want to grab it. If we're not using a chair, you might want 1 or 2 yoga blocks. And we might also need to move ourselves on our mats again. So if you have 2 yoga blocks, you'll place them towards the front of your mat, shoulder width apart. If you have a chair, you will place it to the front of your mat with the seat facing in. And I'm going to go grab my folding chair. It doesn't matter which direction we're facing. We're going to stay in the same direction and just do 1 leg at a time here. So once we get ourselves situated with our props and where we are on our mat, feet are parallel. So you should still have that hips width between your feet. We're not bringing them to the together. And we'll actually start with our hands on our hips. For this pose, we'll want our hips to stay facing forward the whole time and also be equal. So we're not going to want to try to tip our pelvis. We really want to keep the whole pelvic bowl in neutral. Open up the heart, give the shoulder blades a little bit of a squeeze, but continue to pull front body to back body. We're taking a step back with the right foot, but this is not a big step into a long lunge. This is a smaller step, maybe just about 2 feet. And I'm keeping that space between my feet. So I'm also not on a tightrope. And my right toes are angling out slightly, maybe 5 or 10 degrees. Hands are still on my hips. I can feel my hips are still pointing forward to the front edge of my yoga mat. Now, the more traditional version of this pose is to take reverse Namaste. This is where the chest and heart opening comes in, bringing the palms a touch behind the back. I don't practice that because I want my hands to be free for my props so that 1, I don't have to worry about balance, and 2, I can support my low back. But you're welcome if you feel like this is an option for you tonight. And the other thing is make sure we don't jam our kneecaps back and hyperextend the legs. They're straight, but they're strong. So lead with the heart, big breath in. Exhale, we're all pouring from the pelvis. No rounding of the back. And as you move down, we want to keep that low back as level and flat as possible. And then we just need to come about halfway. Strong core, pull the belly. And if this is too much for the low back, you need to come back upright. And you can work on a balancing pose or use your support. Now, we'll breathe into this pose. We'll hold it for several moments here. So what we're stretching is the back of our left leg up the hamstring into the hip. Some of us will feel this in the back right calf and Achilles, especially if we have tight calf muscles. Drishti might be slightly forward if we're only about halfway. Those of us that have started to come a little further towards the ground, fingertips to the yoga blocks or towards the floor might be an option. Keep the spine long. And then eventually maybe drishti to the big toe. Some say the intention is to get the nose to the toe, but I don't know how that's even possible. And then if you're really flexible and your belly's on your thighs, you might even have your drishti to your left kneecap. Wherever we are, continue to pull up to the back of that left leg, receiving that stretch there. Round both feet equally, pull into the low belly. And if you're in reverse Namaste, you're in a really challenging balancing pose. If the hands are behind the back, your legs and core are doing all the work. 1 more breath. Now, on our next inhale, we just come up about halfway, especially if you're further down. You'll want to lift the heart up a little bit, take weight out of your hands so that the core and legs are doing the majority of the work. Exhale, one hand at a time back to those hips. And then inhale, that is an inversion as well. If you went further into it, up to the crown of the head. Exhale, steps right foot forward, next to the left foot. Float the arms down, turn the palms forward, stand tall, and just observe the effects of the pose on the body and the breath. Inhale, let's draw the arms up, gentle back bend, gaze to thumbs. And then exhale, reverse that big circle, hands all the way back down and wide to the hips. Keeping those hips level and square, step that left foot back. Again, it's not a big lunging step, maybe about 2 feet. The toes will turn out slightly. If your pelvis is shifted to the left, bring it back. Left hip forward, right hip back. Unlock those knees, front body to back body. Option to bring the hands into reverse namaste behind the back. Or keep your hands on your hips to guide you. Lead with the heart regardless. Breathe it in. And then exhale, we'll start the tip the hips. Tip the hips. One side might feel quite different than the other. This is my tight side, so I really immediately feel the stretch up the back of my right leg. Keep both feet equally grounded. Drishti might be slightly forward if we're more upright. Those exhales, if we start to move a little bit further into the pose, you can bring your drishti to your big toe. Hips stay level and square. And those of you that are able to almost fold in half here over that front leg, you might bring your drishti to that knee. Feel the stretch up the back of the right leg. One more breath. The next inhale is just a halfway lift. So you have to re-engage the feet, the legs, the core, float the heart. If the hands are down, exhale one hand at a time to those hips, and then press up through the inhale, all the way up to the crown of the head. Exhale, left foot steps forward. Float the arms out, turn the palms forward, pause and breathe. Inhale, big circle overhead. Gentle back bend, takes the drishti to the thumbs. This time bring the palms to touch and exhale the hands to the heart. All right, so from here we can clear our space and grab our yoga straps or our prop that we'll use as a strap. We'll do one more big stretch for our shoulders standing, and then we'll get into more of our hip work. So we'll come back to Tadasana in the legs, feet hips width apart. Unlock those knees, lengthen that lower buttock down, pull front body to back body. So it's really important that we're not hyperextending and overarching our low back here. So keep everything compact and tight. Starting with a wider grip will be a little bit easier maybe for our shoulders, and narrowing our grip over time. Remember, if one shoulder says that's enough, that's where you stop. Don't force it just because one wants to go a little bit further. Create some tension on that strap, and on the inhale, we'll float it up. Maybe slightly back, whatever feels best for you. And on the exhale, we bring it down. So just move with your breath. Keep equal weight in the feet. Pick up your toes if you lose it. Grounding through the mound of the big toe inner heel, mound of the pinky toe outer heel. If we have the movement tonight, we might draw that circle all the way around, back and down. The head should be floating, no tension in the face, the neck or jaw. Now the next time we bring that strap overhead, instead of movement, let's pause and find some stillness in the pose, but take it to the place that feels the best. Not the place that we're grimacing, but the place that really feel like, that feels great. I could hold this for another 20 minutes. That's the place where we want to hang out. But stabilize the lower half of the body. Pull the belly in. Relax the face. Big breath in. And on our exhale, we'll unwind. Lay that strap close to the mat, so we'll use it again. Shake those hands out. Still standing strong. Let's do our little noodle arms side to side. Just let them flop, dead weight. Don't try to get the arms to swing, just move through your torso. The hips may follow as long as it doesn't awkwardly twist your knees. If you speed up the pace here, the arms will start flopping and flopping a little bit more, flapping into the body. It's a really nice exercise to do in the morning to get our circulation going. Or if you spend a lot of time on the computer or sitting still, get up and flap those arms. And then we just slow it back down until our body comes to a rest. Good. If we moved around on our mat, we want to move back towards the front of our mat. Still in Tadasana, ears over shoulders, shoulders over those hips. Arms slightly away from the torso, turn those palms forward. Feel the heart opening. Big breath in. Big circle, reach it up, gaze up for that gentle back bend. Last chance to stretch it out here. On the exhale, draw that belly in, micro bend those knees. We'll hinge and swan dive it down. So some of us might be pausing halfway, hanging out there. Others of us might want to go back into Uttanasana, our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to shins, squeeze the upper back, lift the heart. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, and we'll take a big step back into our plank position. That's always good. Plank a day keeps the doctor away. Full plank, kneeling plank, forearm plank, kneeling forearm plank, your choice. Press the ground away from you, pull the belly in. Compact the hips, tighten around the hips. Support the weight of the hips with the strength of the core. Breathing in and out through the nose. For just 5, 4, 3, 2, 2.5. Good job. 1. Inhale, float those hips up. Exhale, sink them back and down. Downward facing dog. Pedal the feet, find some stillness. Enjoy this gentle inversion. Let the head float between the arms. And then inhale, heels up. Exhale, lower those knees to the ground. Option to keep the knees and the feet together. To sit back and down in that more traditional Balasana. Hand sweep to the feet, the head bows down, and we just relax the whole weight of the arms away from the torso. Hands into the shoulders, tuck that chin. Inhale, round it on up. All right, so we got one more power pose to do here before we get into Supta Padangusthasana. And we were doing this for a few classes. So we're gonna go into Ustrasana or camel pose. Now we're not worried about grabbing our heels or going into a full back bend. I just really want us to learn how to extend and lift up through our spine to help decompress it. So we might want some extra cushion for our knees tonight. Taking our mat and folding it under once or twice, or a blanket or a towel. And then we're gonna come into a kneeling position. So for our kneeling position, toes might be tucked under or flattened. Again, it doesn't matter because we're not gonna be trying to lean back for them. It's just whatever feels like gives you more stability. 2 fists between the knees, that's about the distance that we want. And once we're kneeling nice and tall, we try to bring the palms flat to the low back. Pinkies touching, drawing the shoulder blades and elbows back. Now that takes this mobility in the wrist, and some of us don't have that. So you may try to bring 2 fists into that low back. If that doesn't happen, just keep your hands on your hips. This will give us a little bit more support. So this whole time, we're gonna pretend like we're pushing our hips into an invisible wall. So right now, the front of our thighs and our hips and our belly is touching a wall. And we don't want that to ever fall away from the wall. We are tightening up the back side, so our glutes are gonna work here, our low back's gonna work. And as we breathe in, I just want you to push your hips forward. Push, push, push. Lift the chest and the heart. Now the chin will start to float a little bit, and that's okay. Eventually, the drishti will move up towards the ceiling, but you're pushing your hips, squeezing your back, and lifting up. You want to try to lift up as much as you can, so you really feel this pull up through the front of those ribs. And then eventually, we feel our shoulder blades lifting our heart up even higher. The back of the neck stays long. We're not just dropping the weight of the head back there. It is challenging to breathe, so we have to take little sips of air in and out through the nose. We're gonna try to hold for 10 more seconds. We can do anything for 10 seconds. Keep squeezing the back, pushing the hips forward, lift the heart up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The inhale lifts the heart and the head follows to come back to neutral. Keep your hands on your low back. Exhale, sit down on the heels. Hands to knees, start out small. Inhale, little baby seated cow, back bending. Exhale, pull the belly in. Don't go into your furthest rounding yet. Just a gentle round of the back. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, start to stretch out those muscles a little bit more. Scoop the tail under. One more seated cat-cow. Neutral spine. Try to bring the hands down, maybe the forearms down, and bow the head towards the hands. Some of you might reach the floor. And then hands back underneath the shoulders, lift back up to the crown of the head. We're gonna bring our weight over to either hip, it doesn't matter. Unfold our mats and scooch ourselves forward about to the middle of the mat. So this is where we're gonna wanna have props nearby, especially our yoga straps, so we don't have to hunt them down later. Either rolling to one side, we did just do a big back bend. Actually, let's all just do that tonight. Walk ourselves down onto our back. And then resituate ourselves on our back here. So from here, we're going to move into our Supta Pada Uttanasana. So our straps will still be nearby. Walk those shoulder blades under, lengthen out the low back. So walk the feet in. Pull that right knee into the body, and let's hook that strap around that lower arch near the heel and straighten the right leg up to the ceiling. Now, if the right leg doesn't easily straighten, take some tension off your yoga belt. The leg might need to fall away from the body a little bit, and then eventually trying to bring it back upright. Looping the hands in the strap, maybe floating the shoulders, whatever feels best. And then you really want to press up through the heel, pulling the toes down. Sliding that left heel and pressing the left heel forward as we straighten and anchor the left leg to the ground. Now in both legs, we're lengthening through the inner leg from the inner groin to the inner heel. Create a lot of space there. And then there's some contraction from the outer heels to the outer hips. Relax the face and the jaw. Deeper stretching now, a little deeper of a breath. If that leg is straight, we can start to try to draw it in towards the shoulder. Those of us that want a little bit more tonight, float the head up. You might be able to bring your nose to the knee, or we'll just have that intention. Breathe it in. Keep that left side anchored. Exhale, relax the head down. Take the strap in the right hand. Left hand to left hip. That left side must stay to the ground, low back flat to the floor. Now try to get that right thigh bone higher up, bend the knee if needed. Bend the right elbow to support the strap. And then from there, you may try to re-extend through the leg. The right hand's going to be doing the majority of the work here, opening up the inner thigh and growing. Left arm reaches out from the shoulder, head turns to the left. Take a couple deep breaths. On our inhale, we'll float the head and the leg up. Switch hands, left hand holds on, keep the right leg straight. Hip down, back flat. We're just taking the leg slightly over the midline to try to get into the tight outer bands here of the right hip and thigh. And then as we're ready, taking it into a twist, left elbow down as our kickstand. The right hip will float up. Keep your right shoulder relaxed down, right arm out. Even close the eyes at this point. And take a couple deep breaths here. And the inhale, the leg and the head float up. Open that strap up and slide the left foot in. We will neutralize and pause and waterfall pose. All that on the other side, bring the right foot to the floor. That strap should be on that lower arch nearer the heel. Straighten that left leg out, however that can be done as best as possible. Sliding that right heel forward and then anchoring the right leg and right side to the ground. Both legs very active and trying to create that space through the inner leg from the inner groin to the heel and contracting from the outer heel to the hip. A little bit deeper. If the leg is straight, you might draw it towards the shoulder and try to float the head up, nose to knee. Some of you might actually make that happen. Right side should stay down. Breathe it in. Exhale the head down. Strap in the left hand, right hand to the hip. Bend the left knee as needed to get that thigh bone higher up, and then open that leg up to the left. Keeping your right side down. Right arm may stretch out ahead to the right. Take a couple breaths here. And then on the inhale, head and leg come up. Switch hands. Keep the back flat, hip down, just angle slightly over to try to get into this IT band. Then we'll bring the elbow to the ground on this side. Keep tension on the strap. Left the hip come up, twist. Left arm out, head to the left. Close the eyes. Relax and breathe. Then again, the inhale will bring us up out of the pose. The leg will come up, opening the strap and bringing the right foot in and up. Pausing in waterfall pose. Press those heels up, shoulders relax down. And then bend the knees. Release the strap off to the side, wiggle the fingers a couple times, shake them out. Cross one ankle over the other. Continue to reach the arms up, but flop the hands and the fingertips forward for dead bug pose. Switch across the ankles, hold the arms where they are, relax the fingertips, but the arms are extended straight up. Then uncross the ankles, open the feet up, reaching for feet, toes, outer thighs, happy baby pose. Try to keep that sacrum on the ground here, rock side to side, knees are nice and wide. Big stretch for the hips again. Maybe try to extend one leg out at a time at about a 45-degree angle or further. Maybe try to extend both legs out, back into that V stretch. And then wherever we are, we'll hug the knees and the feet back to neutral. Wrap our arms across the shin bones, nose to knees for a deeper stretch for the back. Breathe in. And then exhale, we'll relax and flop down to the ground. So the other evening class we did last week, we actually did our pranayama lying down on the mat. And that's what we'll do this evening too. This is going to be a very calming pranayama. So that's why it's nice to do this one in evening classes, because it prepares the body to move into that stage of relaxation and sleep, ideally. So last time we did falling tree pose with the pranayama. That might be a little bit much for some of our hips or knees. So don't feel like we need to add the lower half of the body. We might simply continue to have our knees bent up and together with a pillow underneath the legs stretched out over our pillow in Shavasana, always an option, okay? So I'll guide us through. We'll do a few rounds using our right hand. We're doing Nadi Shodhanam, our alternate nostril breathing. Then we'll do a few rounds using our left hand. So it's a little bit different than what we more traditionally do. Those of you that want to do add fallen tree pose, it's a passive pose. So we're not using any effort to hold our legs in this posture. We should just be letting them relax. So if you want to incorporate that, we slide the insides of the legs to touch. We bend the right knee, bringing the foot in. Actively keep the right foot flexed, and the right ankle crosses above the left knee and the thigh bone. And then you just let the knee fall open. Now take a prop underneath the right knee. If that's a little bit much, for me it definitely is. You know it's too much if it strains the hip, the knee, or your left side starts to lift up off the ground. So another option is to forego the ankle and the thigh and just bring the sole of the right foot anywhere along the inside of the left leg. It doesn't even matter if it's touching that left knee, because we're not standing on the left leg or we're not putting any pressure of the foot to the leg. And some of us still might need a support underneath that right thigh, as I do. So the low back should still be flat and grounded, the hip should be level. And then from here, we'll place our left hand near our heart, near the chest, and take our Nasagra Mudra in the right hand. So that's your peace symbol. Glue the index finger and middle fingers together. Your thumb and your ring and pinky are the pinchers. We spiral our right hand to our face. We place the index finger and middle finger into that third eye center and rest the thumb to the outside of the right nostril and the ring and pinky to the outside of the left nostril. Eyes may close at this point. Make sure you're comfortable, the shoulders are relaxed. To begin, inhale through both nostrils. Exhale through both nostrils. Close the right nostril, inhale through the left. Close the left nostril, open the right, and exhale. Inhale back through the right nostril. Close the right, open left, and exhale. That's one round. Inhale left. Close left, open right, exhale. Inhale back through the right. Close right, open left, exhale. That's 2 rounds. Try to flow through 3 more rounds at your own rhythm and pace. If your right arm starts to get tired, take that left hand and hug the right elbow in to help support it. And the inhales and exhales should be as even in length as possible. So we should finish exhaling out the left nostril on that last round. So whenever you get to that round and you exhale out through the left-hand side, we'll release the arms back down to the ground, palms up, just as if you were in Shavasana. Keep the eyes closed. Focusing the mind's eye at the third eye center, still feeling a little bit of that acupressure point in the eyebrow center. Now gently, if we're in fallen tree pose, we'll float the right knee up. I stretch the right leg out to meet the left. Make sure the body is in a nice neutral position with a lot of symmetry from side to side. And we'll practice that on the other side. So we'll step the left foot in, knee is bent. Either flex the left foot and cross the ankle above the right knee, letting the knee fall open, add support there. Or simply bringing the sole of the left foot somewhere along the inside of the right leg. There's no effort in the legs. Use props as needed. The low back should stay grounded. The shoulders are relaxed and even. Right hand rests near the chest. Nasagra mudra in the left hand. Peace symbol, index, middle finger touch. Thumb, ring, and pinky are the pinchers. Turn the hand in towards the face, pressing the tips of the middle and index finger into that third eye center. Rest the thumb to the outside of the left nostril, the ring and pinky to the outside of the right nostril. To begin, inhale through both nostrils. Exhale through both nostrils. Close the right nostril with the thumb and inhale just through the left. Close left, open right, exhale. Inhale back through the left. Close left, open right, exhale. That's 1 round. Inhale right. Close right, open left, exhale. Inhale left. Close left, open right, exhale. That's 2 rounds. Try to follow 3 more rounds at your own rhythm and pace. Remember, if the left arm gets tired, take your right hand to that left elbow, hug it in gently. And try to keep those inhales and exhales an equal number as possible. Again, we should finish with an exhale this time on the right side. So when you get to that last round, you should finish exhaling out the right nostril. At the bottom of the exhale, relax both arms down beside the body, palms up, fingertips relaxed, face is relaxed. Focus the mind's eye at the third eye center. And then gently we'll float the left knee up, straighten the left leg down beside the right. Find some symmetry and balance here. And we'll go right into final relaxation. So if there's something that the body wants to help it relax, more support of props, maybe opening the legs a little wider, adjusting the shoulders, the arms, the head, whatever needs to happen, just do so mindfully. Continue to let the whole body relax, relaxing the whole right side of the body. Relax the whole left side of the body. Relax the whole front of the body. Relax the whole back of the body. Soften and relax the inside of the body. The breath should be very quiet, easy, and calm. If the mind wanders, bring it back to this peaceful breath, or rest the mind's eye at the heart center, Anahata chakra, our place of unconditional love and gratitude, giving ourselves just one more moment of today to let go, to relax, and to sink into Shavasana. So we'll gently start to come back to our breath and breathing life back into the toes and the fingertips. A rock of the head, a roll of the wrists and the ankles. Our next breath in reaches the arms overhead back into our long body stretch, just creating space here, side to side and front to back. Breathe it in. Exhale, arms float down, walking the feet in. And then draw that belly in to hug the knees in. And a little rock side to side here. And then we'll bring the right arm beside the head, roll over to our right and pause in Supta Balasana. Turning the heart to the floor, keeping the eyes soft or closed. Let's press into the ground, bringing the body back up, revisiting any comfortable position to take just a couple more breaths together tonight. Sitting tall, minding our surroundings, arms spread out beside the body, palms up. Inhale, breathing. Let's reach those arms all the way up to the ceiling and gather up everything we need for the rest of our night. Turn those palms back out, float the arms all the way back down to the ground, and let go of all that other junk we don't need tonight. And once again, inhale those arms up. Bring the palms to touch. Exhale the hands to the heart. Humbly bow the head to the heart to honor and thank ourselves, our bodies, each other, and anyone else that made it possible for us to practice our yoga together tonight. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Peace, peace, peace. And I thank you all so much as usual for taking time out of your day, out of your week, to spend it here together with all of us. So as we transition into the evening, let's take our mindfulness with us, our slow, deep breathing with us, and we'll get some nice rain to sleep to tonight.